Bonjour, here's what you're discovering today. It's the difference between FOIS and TEMPS, how FOIS is used and how TEMPS is used. If you know anybody else who would want to understand this, please share. Hi, I'm Christine, founder of SpeakFrench Online, creator of the Real French Method. Let's dive in. On s'y met with FOIS and TEMPS. Now, FOIS is a word used for the frequency of something. It really is as simple as that. So F for fois and frequency. So if you've done something once or twice or 3 times, you're going to use fois. For example, combien de fois est-ce que tu as promené les chiens cette semaine? How many times have you walked the dog this week? Combien de fois? Combien de fois es-tu allé en France cette année? How many times have you been to France this year? Tu regardes un film? Ah, je l'ai déjà vu 2 fois. Il est magnifique. Are you watching a film? Ah, I've already seen it twice. It's brilliant. So that's the use of fois there. And it's also used at the beginning of stories, especially fairy tales. So you start the story, Il était une fois, and then you dive into your story. Now, temps is a little bit different and a little bit more complex. You're going to use it in relation to having time for something. You're going to use it for the weather, and you are not going to use it for asking the time. So here's some examples. Je n'ai pas le temps d'aller à la boulangerie ce matin. I don't have time to go to the baker's this morning. Je n'ai pas le temps. Je n'ai pas le temps. Whatever you don't have time for, you will use temps. Or, ah oui, j'ai le temps. Tu veux venir à la boulangerie? So you can use it for that, to having time. Also used in the expression from time to time. Tu vas souvent dans les montagnes? De temps en temps. On y va quelquefois avec la famille. Do you often go into the mountains? From time to time. We sometimes go with the family. This was one of our trips just over the border from France into Spain. A lovely trip through the Pyrenees. So close to home. You're also going to use temps to ask for what length of time you've been doing something. The length of time. So, combien de temps est-ce que je dois attendre? How long have I got to wait for? Combien de temps? How long in time am I having to wait for? And depuis combien de temps est-ce que vous apprenez le français? How long have you been learning French for? Depuis combien de temps? For how long? We drop the for or put it at the end of the sentence. How long have you been learning French? Depuis combien de temps est-ce que vous apprenez or tu apprends le français? And then there's the temps for the weather. So to ask what the weather is like, you're going to say quel temps fait-il aujourd'hui? Quel temps fait-il demain? Quel temps fait-il en général? So what's the weather like today? Quel temps fait-il? For that one, it's the best way to keep that in your head is think of temps and temperature, and it's going to associate it with the weather. And there's the time on the clock. Quelle heure est-il? What time is it? Don't use temps for the passing of the hours. Think of the hour on the clock and you're asking which one we're at. Quelle heure est-il? Okay. And that about wraps it up. If you want any more practice in French, we're in SpeakFrench Family in Facebook. Just answer the questions on the way in and join us. And finally, if you want rewarding conversations if you wondered what the real French method was about, it's about rewarding effective and adventurous learning in your conversations through talking, so that you're not having an official lesson, but you're learning loads. That's how we work in Conversation Cafe. We come together and we talk together with a pack to guide us through our structural sentences, give us a chance to prepare, and then the spontaneous part comes when we're talking to other people. We never know what they're going to say, and we're never quite sure which question they're going to ask. So there you go. You can join us by hopping into SpeakFrench Online, join us for the masterclass, or investigate us at Conversation Cafe. So let's recap. Use fois for frequency, the amount of times that you do something. Une fois, deux fois, cinq fois. Starting a tale in the past as well. Il était une fois, once upon a time. Use temps for having the time to do something. Je n'ai pas le temps. Or, est-ce que vous avez le temps de? Do you have time for? Use it also in the expression de temps en temps, from time to time, and asking the weather. Quel temps fait-il? Associate that with temperature. Quel temps fait-il? And finally, when we ask what time is it, it's good to remember that we're asking what hour is it in French. Not time as in the passing of time, but what hour is it? Quelle heure est-il? Quelle heure est-il? So here we go, and just sneak one in there. Il est temps de partir. Il est le moment de partir.